Hope everyone's doing well. My name is EQ and welcome to another episode of Stonkaholics. So today we're going to be going over Aave, but before we do that, if you haven't had a chance to join our Discord group, make sure you do that. It's still free. I'm going to throw a link in the bottom. Let's get into the fun stuff. Aave is currently ranked 29th, sitting at $261 a token, sitting at a market cap of 3.3 billion. We have a circulating supply of 12.8 million. That's 80% of the total supply, which is going to be 16 million. So it's a very finite token. We're getting around that time. Once we get close to that 100% mark, you're going to see this price start to go up a lot higher. So Aave is a DeFi protocol, decentralized finance. Do a lot with yield farming. They have been audited by CertiK. And you can see that Three Arrows Capital portfolio is one of their major investors, which is huge. Now, Aave did get a lot of hype a couple months ago when Mark Cuban released an NFT commercial and he accidentally leaked his wallet address, and people were able to see that he was holding a significant amount of Aave. It was, I think, around 85% of the total portfolio. DeFi has been a hot topic in general, and you're adding on top of that a super finite token, so it's all a recipe for success. Aave is an open source and non-custodial liquidity protocol for earning interest on deposits and borrowing assets. They currently have $17 billion in their liquidity protocol. If you scroll down a little bit, you can see some of the stable coins that you're able to use with the liquidity pools. You have DAI, Gemini Dollar, USD, USDT, and so you have the deposit APYs and the borrowed because you're going to be borrowing some of that liquidity. And this is the amount you're expected to get returned per year. So you can get a nice little chunk of money using these pools. So before we get a little deeper into these liquidity protocols and stuff like that, I do want to touch on one of the major dangers of being in these pools where you can lose money. It's called impermanent loss. So essentially what that means is that if you were to put in $100 of Ethereum and $100 of DAI, you tie those together in a liquidity pool. Let's say you were to 2 times your Ethereum and Ethereum went from $2,000 to $4,000 and the money you put in was $100 to $200. This is where the impermanent loss comes in because you are matching with a stable coin and that stable coin is not going up or down. So when you go to cash out, you're going to be taking out half of that money. So instead of getting $200 that you would have had if you just invested in Ethereum alone, you're only going to be getting 150 back because it's going to do an average between DAI and Ethereum. So keep that in mind when you're doing these liquidity pools and swaps. I've heard and seen a lot of people lose money from not understanding that process, but it is a risk that a lot of people are willing to take. You can make a lot of money from DeFi farming. So basically how this would work is depositors provide liquidity to the market to earn a passive income. How Aave works is that depositors would provide liquidity to the market to earn a passive income, and at the same time borrowers are able to borrow in an over-collateralized or under-collateralized fashion. Now, Aave has been audited and secured. It's completely open source. It allows anyone to interact with the user interface client, API, or directly with smart contracts on the Ethereum network. And being open source means that you're able to build any third-party service or application to interact with the protocol and enrich your product. This is very good news for Aave. Keep in mind when you are using Aave though, it's going to be like SushiSwap and all of those other ones as well, where you're going through the Ethereum blockchain. So keep in mind those gas fees from Ethereum. And the Aave token is the center of gravity for the Aave protocol governance. If you want to vote and decide on the outcome of Aave improvement proposals, basically you would take some of your Aave and you would stake it into the governance or the voting system that will verify that you actually do stake Aave, and then you'll be able to vote in those protocols and you'll get rewards. You get rewards and fees back from participating in these protocols and voting systems. And if you go to GitHub, you can find all of their source code because it's open source. So this would allow you to take any sort of API or anything like that and connect and integrate into the Aave protocol system. So this is great for dev teams who want to be a part of it, or let's say extract some information from Aave protocol. They can do that now with an open source, and they do have a very detailed white paper and all of their calculations and variables and so on and so forth. So if you want to go through all of this stuff, I would definitely recommend taking the time to go through this white paper. But for our sakes and purposes, let's get to the fun stuff, which is the chart. Let's add some lines on here. So we can see that Aave did have a nice drop with the rest of the market. We seem to have found a floor so far around the $180 range, which falls in evenly with the previous historical data in terms of the resistance and the support. Now this would be another floor if we were waiting to see where price could drop to next and test support. And then from there, the next support is here. The reason why I'm drawing it down is because the market is signaling that we could potentially go back down. So we want to play both sides of it. Now, if we're going on the bullish side of this, your first major resistance is going to be the bottom of this channel that we created. Channel would be this channel in this general area. You could put it here because you can see when price broke out, this was the major resistance that triggered a second impulse move down. Now we were able to break over this downward trend and find a support and start to move up, but we have a ton of major EMA resistance coming up, as well as a 50 RSI resistance, and the STO RSI is currently overbought, and we're not really getting that much volume on Aave right now. So in terms of a buying spot, I would still wait it out, or if you're just getting excited, do some dollar cost averaging. If you don't know what that is, come join our Discord group. Now, if we were to start making an impulse move from where we are to test all-time high, for example, we're looking at a 167% move, and vice versa. If we go down to our next potential support, you're looking at a 40% loss. Now, based off this previous impulse move, yes, this Fibonacci is not valid anymore. It has been unfulfilled because the trend was broken, but we can still use it as an I system. So if you want to take from this line to the top, from the next impulse move, we did hit TP1. And if we want to take from this impulse to this impulse, we can see price push a little bit shy of that $800 range, almost up to 1,000 if Aave wants to fall bullish in the second leg of the bull cycle. We are all impatiently waiting for the total market cap to decide what it wants to do. We are still sitting in the bottom of the trend, hitting major resistance on the EMAs. This is a major resistance on an SR flip. This is kind of why I'm thinking that we're going to be going down before we go up. If Aave wanted to 10 times, it would have to get to a $30 billion market cap, and that would make it around $2,600 per token. Now, that is a large feat to do. I'm not saying that it can do that. I'm just putting that hypothetical in there, that you're seeing some of these other coins that are sitting at 32 billion. Even Doge is still sitting at 32 billion. XRP is still sitting at 31 billion. So it's not super far-fetched to think it can happen, but it is a far shot. But we do have potential for a 10 times move with Aave still. I do like this project a lot. I've been watching this with Comp as well. I'm a big fan of Aave personally. I am waiting for a better buy opportunity. I'm a big fan of Aave. I'm just waiting for a better buy opportunity. But if it is something that intrigues you and you are looking into DeFi and farming and liquidity pools and all of that stuff, make sure to do more research on Aave, take a look at their website, test out some liquidity pools, and see what happens. And I hope all of you have an amazing day.